If you were in business, you would probably have a business plan. You would have a plan of where you wanted to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years down the way, and what you wanted to do. You might even have a purpose statement. But how about with your life? Successful people have a life plan. They don't just start out and hope that they'll reach a destination that will make them happy. They have a plan, and daily they work their plan. Plan your life and work your plan. I think the greatest example of having a plan in life is what I learned from my son Jonathan when he was a little boy and his friend Seth. I had just been given a canoe by a congregant that was a friend of mine because we lived near a lake. And so we took the canoe out. Now, I made sure that they had all the safety flotation around them. They looked like little snowmen with all that I put on them. And then I sent them out into the small lake. Well, I soon realized there was a problem because Jonathan was paddling in one direction and his friend Seth was paddling in another direction. This caused all forward activity of the canoe to stop. And it didn't happen until it was in the middle of the lake. Then the canoe started to circle around and around. Well, in a few minutes, maybe it was even longer than that, both boys started to cry. And there I am on the shore and thinking, Gads, what am I going to do? How am I going to get these boys out of there? Finally, I had to get in the lake and I didn't have trunks on, so I had to get in with my clothes, swim to the middle of the lake, which wasn't big, as I say, and pull the canoe to the shore. It is that way in life. If we do not have a plan, if we're not all going towards that plan, we just go in circles. That's what the doldrums were for old sailors. The ship would get in the doldrums and it would just go in circles, sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks. And there were many sailors that did not come out of that time. They feared it greatly. Well, in life, we should have forward movement too. And the way that we get out of the doldrums of life is to keep our eye on a particular goal, a particular plan, a particular direction, and then paddle towards it. And when we do, we will get there. Sometimes when we are in our boat of life, we get so swamped that we don't know where to begin. We don't think that we can ever get there, and that's what happened to these boys in the middle of the lake as they started to cry. Life sometimes can overwhelm us unless we're moving in the direction of our desires. We can't take the overwhelming feeling that it sometimes gives us if we feel in a sense of circular hopelessness. Well, God can get you moving again, and God can paddle with you. God can get you to the desired shore. But in your free will, you have to make the choice. You can't sit in front of the boat and in the middle of some lake and just say, oh God, take over. And it's like the old couple that got in the back seat of their Pontiac and prayed to God, God, if you love us, you'll drive us to California. I tell that story often at my seminars. Now, we have to use our God-given abilities, our God-given gifts, and go in the direction of our dreams. God bless you.